I'm Charlie Allred, and this is a special edition of iloveshortsales.com, our podcast. So it's a video version. And the reason I chose this podcast to go on video is because I have behind me my whiteboard with the 7 steps to a successful short sale. Now this applies to agents and investors. So investors, this is the same process you would go through to purchase a short sale, fix it, flip it, or keep it, rent it, whatever it is. But you need to know the 7 steps because otherwise you're always wondering what's going on. And same thing for agents. You obviously need to know what's next and be pushing that short sale along. So I'm going to start at the beginning. So this isn't included in one of the 7 steps, but this is a current situation. So the current situation for the homeowner is that they're underwater. So this is a house and there's some water and I have current written up there. And what you want to know is that your homeowner needs to be somewhat underwater because in a short sale, as we all know, you're selling the house for less than the current homeowner owes. So that's how it becomes a short sale, not just a regular purchase. So that's kind of step 1. So if you're an agent or an investor, you're looking for homeowners that are underwater. Now, where do you find these homeowners? We have a couple of podcasts about this. One is your local title company. One of our title companies, Shane, he was on our podcast. He actually looks up leads for agents, and he would do it for investors as well, I'm sure, that are 90% loan to value from, I think he says about 2004 to 2008. So people who purchased from 2004 to 2008 that are 90% LTV back then. So the market then fell and they're clearly going to be underwater now. So that's kind of place 1. Place 2 underwater is anyone in foreclosure. If a homeowner's in foreclosure, they're likely underwater. There's a reason they stopped paying. They maybe just couldn't afford the home, but they had to stop paying because they kind of realized this isn't worth us paying for the home anymore. All right. So that's the current situation. So next we're going to move to step 1, and I'm going to move just a little bit. Step 1 is you need that homeowner to call you, whether you're an investor or you're an agent. And a lot of investors, I always say, team up with a good agent who is already marketing to these homeowners. So like I have a ton of investors that we keep on our investor list, and they want to be on our list because when I get a home in, let's say, Chandler, Arizona, I have 10 investors that I know want a home in Chandler, Arizona. So I can run it by them, and one of them is likely going to want the house, and they didn't have to do marketing themselves, the investor. So this is what you want. You want the homeowner to call you as the agent. Some investors do their own marketing, but like I said, it's probably easier to just team up with an agent who is already doing the marketing for you. So step 2 we're going to move into is putting the house for sale. So you want the home to, okay, so let me take a step back. The homeowner calls you. I do everything on this initial call. I assess the homeowner. I make sure they're underwater. I talk about what they want to do. I talk about their options, and I set an appointment for the listing. So one phone call to listing. That's the goal. So then at this listing appointment, we put the home up for sale. We also do everything else you need to do. We do all the short sale addendums. We do the hardship letter. We do the letter of authorization. Everything you're going to need for that short sale to put it on the market and then negotiate it as well. The only thing I don't collect at this appointment are bank statements and pay stubs. The reason for that is because by the time we have a buyer, let's say it takes 15 days to get a buyer, the bank statements, there will be another set of them. So we don't collect bank statements or pay stubs because the lender is going to want the most recent pay stubs and bank statements. So I do everything. I put up the sign, we take photos, we list the home, everything in one appointment. That appointment is going to take a good hour and a half to 2 hours. We also answer questions at that appointment. Now, prior to this appointment, I'm going to give you a tip. Prior to that listing appointment, we send a series of videos to our clients. So these videos are frequently asked questions to all the short sale questions. I send them, it's probably 3 or 4 videos depending on the client, and one will talk about tax consequences, one will talk about legal consequences, and a couple of other concerns that most homeowners have. I say, please watch these 2-minute videos before our listing appointment. They watch them, and then they have additional questions, or I've already answered their questions and we're shortening that listing appointment. So that's really the goal. And you have to remember, when you're sitting with a homeowner to list the home or talk about a short sale, there are a lot of concerns for them. There's a ton of stuff that they don't know, and they can't retain all that information from that appointment. I mean, it's a lot to take on when you don't know much about it. So remember, those videos are really helpful, and you're really informing your client, pre-educating them, so they may even have better questions than just the basic questions. All right, so step 3 then would be finding that buyer. So here's our buyers. So you have a buyer, and once you have that purchase contract and you have all the agreed upon terms, that is when the short sale actually starts. So the short sale starts once you have a buyer, all right? So then you can turn in all the documentation to the lender. You can turn in that purchase contract. You can turn in pretty much everything you need. All right, so we're going to move on to step 4. And step 4 is us negotiating with the lender. Sorry, I was looking at SRE. When I teach this same workshop to agents, I'm teaching it and I'm a broker of SRE, so that's why it says that. So this would be you negotiating with the lender. And this can take, 60 to 90 days. So as a buyer or an investor, you want to know that that might sit with the lender for 60 to 90 days before it's fully approved. And as an agent, we have a ton of podcasts about negotiating that short sale. So I'm not going to go into that too much just because we already have podcasts on that. All right, so step 5 is bank approval. So this says bank approval, the homeowner owes 0, and it says love your bank. Now the reason the approval is so important is you want your homeowner to owe 0, and you want to move forward as the buyer investor to purchase the home. So once you have this, if you're purchasing with cash, you can close in easily 10 days after this approval. If you're purchasing with a loan, it's going to take 30. So that'll take us to the next step, which is the 30-day waiting period. And this is if the buyer's getting a loan. So if the buyer is getting a loan, it's going to take 30 days basically from approval to closing. And in that time period, the homeowner, the seller, has the time to move out, to get their stuff together, to really figure out where they're going to live and move forward with their life, which is the ultimate goal as an agent, to help that homeowner and give them that sense of relief. That's really the big goal. And last on the list is 7. So it's closing day. It's a new home for the seller. Most of our sellers will be renting somewhere else. So again, if you're an investor, maybe you have a house for them to rent down the street too if you're working in a certain area. This could really be just a great system for you. You help someone get out of their home, you rent them a home down the street, or once you buy a home in that neighborhood, you have an automatic rental, and the next short sale seller can rent that home too. So that even works out really well. Agents out there, what I suggest doing is creating some sort of a partnership or just a referral to a young junior agent who can do rentals, because we all know running around looking at rentals is not a huge moneymaker, but it's huge for your client. Your client needs help finding a rental, and not always. Some clients will find their rental on Craigslist, or there's a site I know some of our clients have used called Hot Pads that, again, maybe they're just owners renting their own places. They don't have to deal with property management companies. They don't have to deal with all that. But if your client needs help, you don't want to just say, oh, rentals, I'll give you this search and not do anything about it. You really want to follow up and help them find that rental, because again, you're always building rapport, and you're always building your referral sources as well. All right, so these are my 7 steps to a successful short sale. I hope this has been helpful. This was definitely meant for agents and investors. I'm Charlie Allred with iloveshortsales.com. Thanks.